right, dearly beloveds, we have gathered here on the 28th of September, maybe the 29th. I cannot remember the exact date. It is the 28th of September, 2022, to make magic in the universe. Let me see. I just returned from an epic business retreat up at Hollyhock, which is one of the West Coast premier retreat centers with 100 other entrepreneurs. And it was absolutely glorious. It was so wonderful to be in the good company of so many amazing people doing such a wide array of good work in the world. Great connections, great coaching, great food. I took a lot of space for myself. Last time I went to this retreat, I did every single workshop that there was. And this time I was like, smarten up, man. Don't do that again. Just take space. So I focused more on one-to-one conversations, and that was really satisfying. So today in my sermon, I just want to talk about a new way of developing partnerships. So we talk a lot about partnerships because I don't do Facebook or social media. And so we have to get creative in how we partner up. So I'm just going to touch for a moment on 3 different sponsorship partnerships that I'm working on right now in the realm of Magic Kids. And sponsorships this is a new thing. These 3 partnerships are completely and totally different models for gaining partnership support. But I think they're getting my creative wheels going because they're opening up these whole new ways of like, oh, wow, we could raise money this way. We could raise money this way. We could collaborate this way. There's so many more ways than just the ways that we think we need to do. And so I will share my screen here and just show off a couple of these partnership projects that I'm working on right now. So number 1 is for our Dimples book. So Dimples is the story of a golf ball retelling its life story. So we just finished the book. We have an amazing audio story that goes with it. And we're in communications, negotiations with FirstTee.org. First Tee is like a massive, basically golf coaching company. They organization. They train millions of youth in North America to play the game of golf. They teach life skills through the game of golf. So it's more of like an empowerment approach through how they train. I got trained earlier in the year for their 2-day training to work with kids in the way that they do it. And it was awesome. So I pitched them back then, and now we're finally like having the serious conversation. So for this sponsorship, I've just sent in the mail literally yesterday our sponsorship package. So this is kind of the cover letter here. And then a little bit about Dimples, the story, what the book's about me, and all the things. Actually, this is not the right document. We missed a whole page, which is about the actual proposal. So that's not a good example of the full thing. So the actual proposal is for them to sponsor. So they get mentioned at the beginning and the end of the audio story. They get a section in the front of the book, the back of the book, and they get a full page at the end of the story to give a message to parents. They'll also earn 50 cents on every single book that's sold, and a few other pieces. So it's like a full strategic partnership to roll us out. And a bonus part of the sponsorship is that we're offering to co-write the rules book of golf for kids with them. And then we will illustrate it and we'll also publish it. So massive sponsorship opportunity. So that was that one. Second one of our Magic Kids stories that we just released called Our Beautiful Predicament. It's kind of a Unity world peace story that we just released. It's about a 3.5 minute long story. It was narrated by all children. It was really beautiful. I played it at the retreat the other day and made a bunch of people cry. And one of the people that cried owns one of the biggest investment or impact investment funds in North America. They do massive managing of people's capital for positive impact investments. And so she came up to me at the end and asked if we would license that story to be turned into a commercial for their impact investment fund, which is definitely, they're totally values aligned with what we're doing. And the things that they're putting investment capital in is actually aligned with what we're doing for that particular story. So again, another totally different sponsorship opportunity that would generate income. It would also raise more awareness about Magic Kids. And then the third one is on my drive home, my buddy and we had 6 hours in the car together. And so he was asking me about the pain points with Magic Kids. Like, what are the pain points that we solve? And one of the ones that I hadn't talked about before, but was very, very clear and apparent while I was doing the Salt Spring market this year and just selling books and talking to people every Saturday, was that grandparents are having a massive pain. They're disconnected from their grandkids. They're extremely concerned about the amount of screen time their grandkids have, and they're seeing the effects of the lowered EQ, emotional intelligence, and also the just the disconnection, the inability to look somebody in the eyes, to communicate as clearly. And that I had a lot of grandparents actually crying at my booth, just feeling like the innocence of youth is being lost right now because these kids, like, they're seeing their grandkids getting sucked into the screens and kind of losing themselves in there. So my buddy Jason and I brainstormed this idea to create a campaign for grandparents. And so this is like a first draft that I'm going to show you of what we're doing. But we wanted to find a sponsor with like a really large organization that works with elders. So something like the Rotary Club, if anybody knows what the Rotary Club is. So they're kind of like the first, they were who we were thinking about when we made this. So this is just the words. We're going to add our illustrations to this. It's going to become like a moving presentation, but this was like a first draft of what we would send to somebody like the Rotary Club to do a sponsorship. So meet Grandpappy and Gam Gam. Grandpappy and Gam Gam are lonely. They wish for more time with their grandkids. But when their grandkids visit, they're always on their screens. It's hard for Grandpappy and Gam Gam to connect with them. One day, they met a friendly wizard named Soren. Soren made magical stories for kids. Together, they all made a plan. Grandpappy and Gam Gam invited their grandkids over. They prepared snacks, coloring supplies, and laid out activities to do. When their grandkids arrived, they all gathered around the radio, the old-fashioned way. What happened next was magical. They spent hours listening to stories, coloring, drawing, and crafting together. They had lively conversations about the characters, worlds they lived in, and lessons they learned in the stories. When it was time for their grandkids to go home, they asked their parents if they could come do it all again next week, which is exactly what they did. And now they do that every week. Grandpappy and Gam Gam are no longer lonely. They feel happy, fulfilled, and connected to their grandkids in a meaningful and fun way. Magic Kids is a story company specializing in producing magical stories for magical kids. We're currently working on a project called The Grand Plan. The Grand Plan is bringing grandparents and their grandkids together through a magical audio story listening party. The Grand Plan is searching for our official sponsor to help bring grandkids and their grandparents together through a live online storytelling event. Magic Kids brings all the fun of story time without the screen time. Want to help us bring this vision to life? Contact our lead magician, Bradley T. Morris, blah, 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 blah. So, very rough draft. This will be illustrated and animated, and it'll have Soren doing the voiceover for the whole thing. And then we'll send this out to organizations like Rotary Club and other organizations that work with elders as a way to build a collaborative partnership to promote a huge listening party, which will then promote the subscription, promote the books, etc. And will part of the funds, a big chunk of the funds will also just be for paid traffic to come be a part of the Grand Plan. So this was all inspired by bringing grandkids and their grandparents together, which a lot of the people that are buying our books are grandparents. A lot of the people spreading the word for us on our behalf are the grandparents. And the people that have the most time to sit, listen to our audio stories, and then do all the activities are the grandparents, because the parents are mostly overwhelmed and maxed out. So this was like a really inspiring idea storm that we had on the drive back. And then I just took some action yesterday and mapped the storyboard out. So as far as like partnership sponsorship is a great way to go. Our last book just got sponsored by unify.org for our beautiful predicament. And so that was more of a promotional sponsorship, but it's going to lead to a lot more traffic. So as you're building what you build, are there opportunities for sponsorship, whether it's a promotional sponsorship, a product sponsorship, some form of collaboration with somebody that does have a product or does have a large list? These are just three that are all in motion right now, and each is very, very different in what the organization we're partnering with will get, but all of them will lead to more traffic, more sales, more money. And we're just leveraging each other's networks and our shared sense of values and purpose. So that is how to identify a partner is do you have a shared set of values and sense of purpose? And if the answer is yes, then chances are there's a way that you can collaborate with them. These are the pathways. And the thing that I've been reminded, because I've been so jaded by the internet over 18 years of working on it and all the online marketing thing, the things that I have to constantly remind myself over the years is that the people at Rotary, the people at this investment fund, the people at First Tee, they're all just people. They're all just doing the best they can. They all have a dream of what they hope the organization they work with could do in the world. And when we're reaching out, and when I'm reaching out to these people and setting up conversations and calls, it's not about getting something. It's about our shared humanity. It's about the thing that we're all trying to collectively do together, and how doing it together can actually potentially be a tipping point for everybody in what we're doing. So that is what I hold in my heart when I send these outreach emails, when I write these proposals, is just remembering the humanity in the recipients of what we're going to be putting together and sending, and that there is a shared sense of purpose, and it's just calling that up and calling that forward in how we can do business together.